Hey guys, it's Phoebe and Jackson Boo Boo. Look at him, my adorable little poggin. So, we hope that you're all safe and well. This isn't the video that I was hoping to upload today, so I do apologise, but it is on its way. I promise you, Tracy R, it is on its way. It's a work in progress at the moment. What we've got in store today, we're packing quite a lot in today, guys. Got crazy comment of the week, followed by a blast from the past, as well as AD's current conspiracy theory. Oops, did I say conspiracy? Yep, conspiracy theory. And finally, a really good recommendation. Okay, so buckle up, it's going to be a long one. Okay, so let's start with the crazy comment of the week. Look at this guy. I've always been a bit of a sucker for a pretty face, but let's have a look at his comment. Every one of you worthless scums in this fake crime community deserve your heads being cut off. You're all evil and deserve to all be buried alive, then have fuel thrown on you and set on fire to... and then I couldn't see the rest of it. Well, non debaco, if that's how you pronounce it. I looked up your name and it's Latin for I am not led, I lead. Well, by the time I clicked on the comment, it had gone. Now, I don't have anything to do with this guy, so I've no idea where he came from. But please, if you don't like my channel, stay away. Wow, that was a crazy comment, wasn't it? And I've never interacted with that guy ever, that I'm aware of anyway. But I don't think anybody deserves to have their head cut off and be buried alive and set on fire. Do you guys? But then I thought about it. If we have our heads cut off, how can we then be buried alive? Doesn't quite make sense to me. Maybe I put a little bit too much thought into that one. Okay, so moving on, let's have a little look now at AD, a blast from the past.
Old AD at 2 hours. I said I'd do an hour. I've done 2 hours again. I've done 2 hours again.
Well, it is your job, AD, after all. Most of us work 35, 40 hours a week, so just to work for 2 hours isn't really much of a big deal, is it? I know that it will take time to prepare your show, but even so, 2 hours, not a lot really.
There's a long lingering goodbye. I'm a grafter. I'm a grafter. I'm a grafter.
You're a grafter, AD. Well, as you know, in the UK we have another word very similar to that, but it has an I in it. I'm not going to say it because we don't do name calling here on this channel, but I'm sure everybody knows what I mean. Okay, moving on. This is where his ego is off the scale, guys.
Yeah. Dr. Phil said, Armchair Detectives, YouTube theorists. Armchair Detectives, YouTube theorists. Got it. He's seen me. I guarantee you he's seen this programme.
How are you going to guarantee that for us then, AD? What evidence do you have?
If you are watching Dr. Phil, about time you invited me on your programme, because you have to accept now that we're more important than mainstream media.
More important than mainstream media in which way? In what way, should I say? You've got to quantify that, AD. You've got to clarify that. Surely you're going to clarify it, aren't you? Yeah?
We're more important than mainstream media. I could get you more views than some boring guests. I could get you more views than some boring guests.
Well, clearly no clarification there. But let's just take a little look at Dr. Phil. Oh, look, 5 million, over 5 million subscribers. And AD, 55,600 subscribers. No comparison really, is there? And let's not forget that Dr. Phil was created by Harpo, that is opera spelt backwards, AD, in case you didn't know. But yeah, opera works very closely with Dr. Phil, and Carla Pennington is his producer, his award-winning producer, should I say. And let's have a look. Who's your producer, AD? Let me think. Oh, yeah. Alexa.
I could get you more views than some boring guests.
Okay, let's have a look at some of Dr. Phil's boring guests. Okay, there's opera again. And then there were the Kardashian sisters. Both of them were on his show. As well as Burke Ramsey, the brother of Jean-Benet Ramsey. And finally, wow, Barbara Streisand. You can't get much more of a superstar, super talented person than Barbara Streisand, can you? I loved her in A Star Is Born. That was my favourite, one of my favourite ever films. Barbara Streisand. Wow. Beat that, AD.
So get yourself sorted out.
Yes, Dr. Phil, come on, get yourself sorted out. You're missing out on this amazing talent of the man known as the Armchair Detective.
Dun, 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 dun.
Come on, Dr. Phil, you don't want to miss out on all this talent, do you?
Dun, 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 dun. Army of Armchair Detectives. I get you. I get you.
Now this, of course, is when Armchair Detective truly believed that Dr. Phil was sending him secret coded messages through the TV. I kid you not.
I get you. I would like to get to this 50,000 mark. Is there any way you can get me some subs? I don't want to buy them. People say I buy subs. I don't buy subs. We get one at a time. It takes ages, doesn't it? We get one at a time. It takes ages, doesn't it?
One at a time? It takes ages, doesn't it? That sounds like you're speaking from experience, AD. Really? I know that's semantics, but as we hear later, you are also splitting hairs, in my opinion. We'll get to the semantics very shortly.
Is there any way you can get me some subs?
You shouldn't really have to ask your supporters to get you subs, really, AD. You earn your subscribers. That's how I view it anyway. You earn them through respect and good content. You don't ask people to get you subs.
Is there any way you can get me some subs? Yeah, comment here. Go to Dr. Phil's podcast and give me a little mention. Thank you.
Well, that's his solution, asking his subscribers to go to Dr. Phil's podcast and put a good word in for him. I wonder if it worked. Okay, seems he's had a little change of heart now, though.
Yeah, well, Dr. Phil, I need to have him on my show, really, don't I?
Well, if Dr. Phil really does listen to AD's show and he sees this, I'm sure he will be riveted and won't be able to wait to join the guests.
Right, Piddling Bill, he's been out. Where's he gone? Piddling Bill has gone out shopping for chicken necks. Piddling Bill has gone out shopping for chicken necks. So he's making a chicken neck delicacy, probably.
I shall say no more, guys. Piddling Bill said it all for us, really, didn't he? Okay, so moving on now to this weekend's conspiracy theory. I'm going to play you a clip which AD does play, but I wanted you to hear it first before he then plays it, so you can get a feel for it, okay?
What happened? When I left, I mean, it's on video that I left and I was in my truck. I didn't load anything into my truck besides my tools. When I left, I mean, it's on video that I left and I was in my truck. When I left, I mean, it's on video that I left and I was...
He definitely says A. I left no. I left a note.
When I left, I mean, it's on video that I left and I was...
He definitely says A. I left no. I left a note.
It's on video that I left and I was in my truck. It's on video that I left and I was in my truck.
No, he's definitely not saying I left, which is totally semantically different. That's I left the building, right? If he says I left, no, fine. But he says I left a. I left a. I should make a film of it tomorrow and slow it down so you will know exactly what he's saying. Just for now. One more time.
Yes, one more time, because AD thinks that his viewers are stupid. They can't grasp it the first time or the second time, so he has to play it again for a third time. Really?
So tell me what happened then. I believe you that you did nothing on your hands. What happened? When I left, I mean, it's on video that I left and I was in my truck. I didn't
See how he changed it? I was in my truck. I left a note. That's all I can see. That's up to me, isn't it? That's my opinion. Did you learn anything? Everyone said, I've seen that before. Yeah. But you haven't sat and watched it with AD, have you? No.
Oh my goodness. I would imagine for existing viewers, it's probably the third time, if not the fourth time, that they've sat and watched it with AD. But of course, he's now got some new viewers who are watching him since the release of the Netflix documentary. So of course he can now push all of his ridiculous conspiracy theories onto his new viewers, including this theory, whereby Chris Watts left a note behind in the house telling to whom it may concern to investigate his wife if anything happened to him. Really?
I left a note. Definitely. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make that. That's the most important thing for me tonight. Gives me a job to do for tomorrow.
Okay, so moving on to the next day, Sunday the 4th of October.
What would have happened that day? Well, I guess we'll never know for sure until Chris tells us, which will be very soon. Because he's going to appeal. He's going to tell us the truth eventually.
The only truth that you will accept, AD, is the truth that matches up with your narrative. Anything else, Chris Watts will be lying.
That appeal will happen pretty soon, I believe.
A video about the appeal is coming up very, very shortly, guys. I promise you, especially Tracy R.
I believe the plan included this letter. For 2 years I've been perplexed. Why did he write this random letter to make concern if any of that was to me, investigate my wife? And I was thinking for years, what was that for? Well, it must have been part of the plan, right? Look the date on it. It was put in by somebody else. That's not his writing. Who put that date in and why?
Okay, let's have a little look at this then. You can see that Chris Watts does use the same format with dots in between his numbers. How do you know it's not his writing, AD? There you go, there's another example, dots in between the numbers. Okay, so let's have a little look at examples of his writing. Look at the 6 in the middle there. 8618, and look at his 6s there. They've got a small loop, haven't they? They've both got a very, very small loop, as has this one, a small loop. So how does AD know that that isn't Chris's writing? And to be honest, his writing, even his signature, changes. There we go, that's Chris from a card, or in a card to Nikki. And this is Chris in one of his letters to Sherilyn Cadle. It's very different, isn't it? This looks like a Chris with a 5 on the end, whereas this one is completely different. That's the letter that he left apparently in the house. So where's your proof, AD, that this isn't Chris Watts' writing? Show me your evidence, please.
I think that date was put in to put us off the track. I believe this letter was going to be left in the house. And the narrative was, look, I just went to work. It's all on film. We knew that Nate's film showed him leaving. Look, I took all this, I took all that. And then there's a video that shows me leaving. He's adamant there's a video that shows me leaving. But that was a script. But also was in the script, I believe, is this mistake, this Freudian slip, where he says, it's on the video that I left a note. So that was the original plan. He goes to work. Listen to him swallow the word note. If you put A in something, in front of something, it's an object. He says A.
when I left.
Okay. Now, this is purely down to you now. This is my thought, not me saying I'm sure. I think he says I left a no. That's what I hear. And I've listened many times.
I've listened many times as well, AD, and I hear I left in no. He could be saying I left in no particular hurry. Goodness knows what he's saying. Nobody knows what he was going to say.
I mean, it's on video that I left and no, I was in my truck. I mean, it's on video that I left and no, I was in my truck.
I'd be really interested to know what you guys heard. Let me know down in the comments if you want to. This next part is probably going to be really boring, but I wanted to leave it in so it doesn't look like I've edited anything out. Sorry about the beeps, but it does sound like AD is speaking to some primary school children.
I left a no, and he swallows it. People do that when they don't want to tell the truth. Okay? Now, you might think he says, I left, but no, he definitely says, I left a. If you put a into a sentence, the next thing is a thing. You don't say, I left left. You say, I left the building. You don't say, I left a building. I left a means he left something. So you need to know what that next word is. And all we get is no. I left no. So you decide what it is. I've had my idea. You have your own.
I mean, it's on video that I left and no, 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 I left. I mean, it's on video that I left and no, I was
Not convinced? Well, if I slow it down, perhaps you might just believe me.
Hang on a minute, AD. I thought those were your thoughts, and you were leaving it up to everyone else to decide on what their own thoughts were. Now you're trying to convince people of your theory.
I left. I mean, it's on video that I left and no, I mean, it's on video that I left and no, I mean, it's on video that I left and no,
Oh my goodness, you know what this reminds me of? It is a verbal or audio version of The Shadows, where he shows a blurry, fuzzy, piece of pixelated film, and he expects people to see a shadow or a handbag or a ponytail, except this time it's in audio. It's just all garbled.
So finally, I find a use for the note that was seemingly so random, but not so telling. If anything happens to me, investigate my wife. This proves it's his writing.
We don't want proof that it's his writing, AD, in the letter. We need proof that the date wasn't his writing. How do you know that the date was added on by somebody else?
In a letter here to his girlfriend, his mistress. This is how much he thought of her. He was obsessed with her, besotted with her, had to have her. If I never met NK, this would never have happened, he says.
Yes, but he doesn't mean that Nicole Kessinger had anything to do with it. He doesn't mean that she was his accomplice. He means if she hadn't have come into his life and taken his breath away, he wouldn't have wanted to leave his old life behind. He would have been perfectly happy with his existing life, should I say, not his old life. And if it wasn't Nicole Kessinger, it could have been any woman that came along.
You see why, the planning that went into it. The 111-minute phone call was the almost exact time that Shanann was supposed to be in the air.
Yes, 111 minutes or thereabouts. But has AD taken into consideration the 1 hour time difference? Colorado is 1 hour ahead of Phoenix, Arizona. So if there was a meticulous master plan, surely that 1 hour would have had to have been taken into consideration as well, wouldn't it? Not that I believe for 1 minute, sorry about the beep again, that there was any meticulous planning. So there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Do you know, it's 5 o'clock in the morning here in the UK and my phone is just going crazy. So there we have AD's latest theory, or conspiracy theory as some of us would say. I'm going to leave you with my recommendation now, which is a podcast. I did promise last time that it wouldn't be Netflix, so it's a free podcast called Down the Hill, the Delphi Murders, and it is excellent. Really good if you're walking the dog or driving to work and you can't watch a screen, obviously, because all you have to do is listen. And it is the tragic murders of Abigail Abby Williams and Liberty Libby German. There they are, beautiful little girls. Well, they were teenagers. So the gripping drama has generated 6.3 million downloads to date. That was a couple of months ago, and the reason I'm mentioning it is that they recently interviewed former Carroll County prosecutor Robert Ives. He didn't give much away, to be honest, but he did give a couple of tiny little clues about the crime scene. So there we have the little girls, bless them, Abby and Libby. Oh, bless their little hearts. So yeah, they were dropped off by Libby's sister, Kelsey. They crossed over the bridge, the now infamous Monnon High Bridge, and went for a walk down a nature trail, and sadly they never came home. Here's the now infamous Monon High Bridge in Delphi, Indiana. I didn't realise it was so high until I looked at these photographs. It really is very, very high up, isn't it? So this was back on the first, they disappeared on the 13th of February 2017. And tragically their little bodies were found the next day, Valentine's Day, the 14th of February 2017, and they still haven't caught the killer. Here he is. And amazingly, Libby managed to take some photos of Abby walking along the bridge, and she also caught the killer on video on the bridge and some audio. This is a police sketch, and to me, when I look at pictures of him, I believe that if you know who he is already, you could recognise that man. I don't think a stranger would recognise him, but I do feel that if you already knew him, you would recognise him from those photos. It's so frustrating because we've got audio and video footage of him, yet he still hasn't been caught. Oh, gosh, I so feel for their families. May they fly high with the angels. So that's my recommendation, guys. It's a podcast. I will leave the link in the description field below, and it is called Down the Hill, and it is about the tragic murders of Abigail and Liberty. Bless them. So take very, very good care. Until I speak to you again very, very soon, I love you lots. Bye-bye.